Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Nickel City Mafia. We're going to do a little post-game from the Colts. We're going to do a little pre-game from the Saints. I'm Mike Thornton, and joining me, as always, is Jake Podrick. Jake, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, Mike. I'm doing all right. You know, a little disheartened from Sunday. I was there. I witnessed it. We were absolutely demoralized, but it's okay. You know, we're gonna bounce back.
Yeah, we're going to get into that, and I'm going to need you to maybe be the voice of reason this week. I try to always be the voice of reason and bring everyone back to a calm state. I don't think I can, but we're going to talk all about that in a little bit. And but right now, let's talk a little bit about something huge that we got going on. We got another awesome giveaway.
Heck yeah.
It is a Fanatics $500 gift card to the Fanatics website. I'm sure if you're familiar with sports, you know what Fanatics is. I know you know, Jake. This is where we actually got the Josh Allen signed autograph helmet as well. So we had a company come to us. They're pronounced Auto. They're spelled O-R-T-O. So thank you to the kind folks at Auto. And they came to us. They saw what we did last month with the Josh Allen helmet. They liked the content that we were bringing. They loved the interaction with the folks, especially on this show, Jake. And they said, hey, we want to sponsor your next giveaway. So we're like, we checked out the app. I know you downloaded it. I downloaded it. It's very, very cool. So real quick, I'm going to give you a quick blurb about from the sponsor and about their app. So stay with us about 30 seconds. Let's go.
40% of the cars on the road hold a hidden history. With the Auto app, you simply photograph any car, and using our AI license plate recognition technology, you'll instantly have accident, sales, and owner data from multiple sources at your fingertips. If you work in the car industry or are simply buying a used car, use Auto to get the full picture. Search Auto, spelled O-R-T-O, on the App Store.
So there you have it. Cool application. I mean, if you're looking to buy a used car, if you're in the auto industry, you want to check that app out. I know all the guys on the channel have downloaded it. I've checked it out. You simply take a picture of a license plate, and it's going to pull a full report for you. It's going to let you know if there's any damage, all the services that it had. And it was crazy to me that it even showed anytime I had a tire swapped out. So it was pretty cool. Jake, I know you've downloaded as well.
I have, and you know what? I would have loved to have used it on my previous vehicle because I mentioned it in the last show, Mike. I had a 2010 Kia Rio, and this was like a little clown car, and I finally got rid of it. And the reason why I got rid of it is because I absolutely smoked a deer it was on Southwestern Boulevard where it's like 55 miles per hour. And the irony of it is I was on my way to go hunting. So I absolutely smoked this deer, came out of nowhere. I had no choice. There's people behind me, so you just got to kind of run through it. So I was like Derrick Henry. I mean, this thing just came out of nowhere, and I just trucked it, and it went flying. Sorry for all those who are like animal activists and whatnot. I didn't mean to do it.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, this thing got absolutely jacked up. It would have been on Jacked Up on ESPN if they would have showed the highlights again.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, that was insane. But I would have loved to see the report if it popped up or whatnot on the app. That would have been pretty cool.
I'm just surprised you came away okay being in that.
Yeah, I came away still driving, still made it to my parents' house even afterwards, and leaking radiator fluid. It was insane. Just all heart, all grit out of that thing. I don't know that car a dime.
Yeah, well, I used it on a car that I knew had an accident, one of our cars, and sure enough, it showed the accident and everything. So I like I said, the only surprise for me, I knew it showed services, but anytime we've had new tires put on it, it also showed that. So
yeah,
my wife's like, "Oh my God, this is a little creepy." But no, we love it. It's very cool. And again, thank you for the folks at Auto, spelled O-R-T-O. You can get it on both the Android and Google and the Apple Store. So thank you guys. So man, let's move on here. Let me take this over here real quick. All right, let's get into this post game. Oh my goodness. The Colts.
Just a big sigh out of you, Mike.
Yeah, Colts embarrassed the Bills. So I need to get some stuff off my chest. I know we should be moving forward. I didn't have a chance to vent to anyone. I didn't have my friend Jake. He was at the game. We haven't had a chance to talk much. We've been busy trying to get ready for Thanksgiving. So I just got a few things to say, and then I'm going to go over my slide here, and then I'll throw it over to you, Jake, because you were at the game, and I want to get your experience and hear what you're feeling as well. So
Certainly.
for me, first of all, let me say something. My wife and I celebrated our 10th year anniversary on Friday.
Heck yeah.
Super excited, right? And we're like, let's do something special this weekend. And we went to a place called Orange County. It's a beautiful place, about an hour and a half away from us. It is where we met. And she's like, let's go down on Saturday. We'll spend the night. And I'm like, of course, honey, I'm gonna go, right? But I was like, dang, the Bills are playing. But I was ready to give up the Bills and watch them later. I have the Game Pass. Mm-hmm. I can watch the replay. But my wife, shout out to her. She's like, I know it's going to bug you to not watch the Bills game. So here's what we'll do. We'll find a sports bar and we'll go there and I'll watch the game with you. Now, mind you, 10 years married, 2 years dating. My wife has never watched the Bills game with me, Jake. Never.
Wow.
Not one time. So she does this for me. We're first at the place we get in the bar. It opens right at 10. We're like, please put on the Bills game. We got the Bills game on. We got a table. And our good friend Troy joins us as well because he lives right there in Orange County. So he comes over. Super excited, super pumped. My wife has done this for me. And then the next 3 hours was just the most embarrassing thing I've ever been through. What we put on the field that day, Jake, was absolutely trash. And I hate to say that. And I meant to say something. I want to preface something before I say all this. I've been a Bills fan for 48 years. If you subscribe
You've
to the
seen
theory,
a lot of trash.
Yeah, if you subscribe to the theory that you're a Bills fan from the time of birth, then that's 55 years. But from 7 years old, I can remember being a Bills fan. So I've been a Bills fan through all the tough times, through the 4 Super Bowl losses. And here we are last year. We almost got there again. And lots of hype on this team coming into this year. We're talking Super Bowl. And I don't know if we're definitely not a Super Bowl caliber team. Not right now. I don't know if we are going to be. And we may not even be a playoff team. I'm just giving it to you what I'm seeing. And so I'm going to start with, again, absolute garbage on the field. I got people. So the bar, since it was an early game, I think people were hungover from the night before. So we didn't really have a big crowd because they usually come in the afternoon because the West Coast teams play around 1 o'clock our time out here.
Right.
But I did have some folks gathering at the bar. And as the game went on, I just kept hearing snickers and little things like, I knew these Bills were overrated. And I'm just like, I can't argue with them, right? And as the game went on, they're like, why did someone even put that game on, right? They wanted to change it to something else.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, no way, I'm sticking with it. So absolute embarrassment for the organization, for the city, for the fans. I'm going to start at the top. It all starts with coaching. It starts with McDermott, Dable, Frazier, starts there. And Jake, and then after that, getting to the team, Josh Allen. I'm tired. I mean, here is a $250 million man. I like to say the $250 million because it sounds like a lot more than the $250 million, which is an insane amount of money. Starts with him. He's the leader. I see this game. They keep showing him on the sidelines. And I know maybe it's just not the way he leads, but he just looks like a sad puppy on the sideline. He's not talking to anybody. I'm used to seeing like Brady firing up his guys, going up to them. I didn't see any of that, and maybe that's just not his style. But anyhow, I'm tired of saying excuses about that offensive line. That offensive line, while they weren't great, they weren't horrible. He had time to make plays. And of course, he throws 2 interceptions. And we have the Isaiah McKenzie fumble on the kickoff right before half. That was devastating.
Yeah.
And then from there on, it was just all downhill. And, you know, we throw the ball, and that's how we've built our team. But man, when it's raining, and Jake, I said this on our pregame show, I'm old school. When that type of weather, and especially wind, what did I say? I said, I'm worried. The run game has the advantage. Oh my God, did the run game have the advantage? They destroyed
Yep.
us. When you know a team's gonna run and you scheme all week and you can't do anything about it, man, that says a lot. And so let me jump to the defensive side of it, where, again, they were just destroyed. But here's my biggest problem, Jake. We played, and I love Taron Johnson. Taron Johnson played 90% of the snaps.
Incredible.
The Colts were running the ball 70% of the time. And you think we need Taron Johnson in at that point in time? If you watch that game, that poor kid is getting blocked. These linemen, 330, 40-pound guys, pushing him off like he's nothing. So get a bigger linebacker in. We talked about that. Now I know Edmonds wasn't available, but we had another one we could have put in there.
Right.
He played the other linebacker. What's the guy's name? Because he's one of the guy you were talking about.
Tyrell Dodson.
Right. So Dodson played 10% of the snaps. 10%. So you don't make any adjustment the whole game. They never changed. There was nothing different they did from the start of the game to the second half. And I'm like, I just watched the Jaguars the week before make huge adjustments at half, and they pretty much shut down Jonathan Taylor. They kept the Colts to 3 points in the second half.
Yep.
We couldn't do that. We couldn't do that and I lied to everybody. I said our defense was elite and it would keep us in any game. I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. So
I've never seen you this fired up before, Mike. I love it.
Man, I'm just getting this off my chest. This is so painful. I mean, and then I'm thinking about you too. I'm like, you're over at that game, and I'm going to throw it to you in a second here and kind of get your thoughts, because you were in that rain, you were in that wind.
Yeah.
Tell me about those conditions. But man, it starts at the top, and Josh Allen, he's not off the hook this time. People keep saying, I see all over social media, oh, if we can get an offensive line. Forget that. That offensive line was okay. And let me tell you something. We didn't run the ball a lot, but we averaged over 5 yards a carry when we did. And I know we've said get away from the run, but man, make an adjustment. That game, there was no way you were going to come back throwing the ball, and in those conditions. I saw about 4 or 5 dropped passes, and then anytime we made a play on defense to stop a drive, what happened? Penalties every time. So I'm super frustrated about this one, Jake. Let me throw it to you and get your thoughts.
Well, I think you absolutely hit the nail on the head. You hammered it in, you pulled it back out, hammered it back in, Mike. And yeah, it was embarrassing. It was, you know what? Actually, there was a caller who called into WGR on the morning show yesterday, and he talked about how you can compare it almost to like a boxing match. How you have these guys who get in the ring and they go punch for punch with each other, and how we just don't want to do that with another team that is willing to throw punches at us. We don't punch back. It's just insane to me how flat we came out, how lackadaisical we looked, how insanely dominated we were at the line of scrimmage. Actually, still on both sides. Our offensive line definitely played better. There's no doubt about it. But it was just an absolute nightmare. And you cannot win with Josh Allen playing the way that he's playing. He did not play well. He had a couple of brilliant throws that were actually overlooked. There was a couple drop passes that shouldn't have been drops, would have been tough catches. There was the one catch where Dawson Knox had a layout. There was Gabe Davis on the one. He actually got held on the one interception play. I don't know if you saw that. But we got to stop making excuses. We can't make so many excuses for this guy. At a certain point, he needs to own that MVP status that he's supposed to be and just make plays, win us a ball game, take it in his own hands, whatever he has to do. And there wasn't any of that. It was just a train wreck from the very beginning onward. And we knew exactly what they were going to do, and we couldn't stop it. Like you said, Taron Johnson played 90% of the time, and it's great. He is very good in run coverage. He's very good at playing the run. But at a certain point, you need to make an adjustment, and you have to see that it would probably be better if we had bigger bodies in there. It was just, and I mean, shout out to the Colts offensive line. They played a phenomenal game of football. That is the best offensive line in football, hands down. I'm going
Absolutely.
to say it right
Totally
now.
agree.
I mean, they are just, and Carson Wentz is sitting there like, man, I am living the dream right now. I just have to make a few easy throws, get a couple of nice first downs. We're good. He threw for 106 yards.
11,
I mean,
11 completions, Jake. That's
yeah,
it. That's
it's
all you had
just
to
like
do.
unbelievable. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, incredible running back. His line helps a lot for sure, but Jonathan Taylor is tremendously talented, and he is the leader in my books for the MVP race right now. He's incredible, unbelievable running back. Yeah, their defense. I mean, their secondary. We made them look like. I'm trying to think. Just any defense, any elite defense from the past 10 years. They were all ball hawking players. Kenny Moore had a great game. George Odom almost had 3 interceptions, which is insane. I mean, it was just unreal. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. And for a 6-3 team to go in like that at home and get absolutely stomped, just so demoralizing. And you're sitting there, it's raining out. Yeah, hey, we have the elements. They're playing in the elements too, though.
Yep.
So step up, make a play. Someone has to make a play, and it just wasn't happening. Stephon Diggs, I think he was targeted 6 times. He caught 4 for 23, 2 touchdowns. I don't know why we're still not targeting him more. They were running a lot of zone, it looked like, the Colts. Matt Breida had 5 carries for 51 yards. He averaged over 10 yards a carry. Like you said, we're actually running it effectively with the outside zone, and we just totally abandoned that. There was just no adjustments made. Sean McDermott attempting that field goal on 4th and 5 in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Just horrendous call, conservative call again. Insinuating that he has no faith in his players, no confidence that we can make that 4th down. My brother called it too. He said, we're pushing it left, we're pushing it right. So he called both of those misses, which is very unfortunate. I don't put that on Tyler Bass. I think it just, he already was lacking confidence kicking that way. It was windy as hell in that stadium. I can say it. I was there, so it just, insanely frustrating. Now, I did stay for the entire game. I didn't leave early. I wasn't one of those fair weather fans who left the game early, although I don't blame them. I really don't. In this case, I don't blame you for leaving early if you did, because I'm telling you, it was tough. Like, it was raining. It was 30, 40 degrees. It was windy. We were getting absolutely smoked, curb stomped. It was tough. But we won the tailgate. I'll tell you that, Mike. We won the tailgate. In particular, I won the tailgate. It was an incredible time. Me, my brother-in-law, my buddy Ian, my brother Blake, we were out there, and we had an absolute day. I don't think my brother remembers much after the second half of the game. In fact, he fell asleep. So shout out to him. He had a great time, and he deserved it. We actually got a 7-on-7 football game in the parking lot, Mike. It was pretty fun. We were just calling out random people to run routes for us. We were calling out people to play safety. It was absolutely hilarious. So on a bright spot, we won the tailgate. So that was great. We had some brisket in my office, which is awesome. And I mean, we had an absolute blast in that sense. But the football game was not so pretty.
Yeah, I'm glad the tailgate actually saved your day. You had a good time there.
Yeah.
But man, just such a disappointment. And I mean, so your buddy Tim, he's talked about a retractable roof. He was giving us a hard time earlier in the year. We're saying we're all about the elements. I'm starting to sway to Tim's side now. I'm like, if you're going to build a team that's going to throw the ball and can't run, maybe we do. But anyhow, let me ask you a question. Do you know what Singletary's average run averages is yards per run? Per carry this year, on the year, not this game.
I think it's pretty good. I want to say it's above 4 yards a carry.
5 yards a carry.
Yeah, 5 yards. Okay.
5 yards a carry. Bright.
Now, some of that is inflated because he gets like these longer runs, and then we stop,
Yeah, he had the 45-yard run against the Dolphins early on in the season. But, What
about Matt Breida?
Matt Breida, come on. All right, so remember early in the season we were going back and forth between Singletary and Moss? Mm-hmm. I'm sure you know what side I'm back on, right?
He's taking the clear-cut lead. I 100% agree with you.
Put Moss to the side. deactivate
Yep.
the guy. It's Breda time. Breda looked, I mean, you can just see when he gets the ball, his 0 to 60 is just so much different than the other two guys. And
Yeah.
he just brings a different element to our team. And yes,
He gives
more.
us a spark.
Yeah,
It's just
more.
nice. It's nice to have that element. He's fast. He can get outside. He can catch the ball. He can make plays. He's willing to make plays. I'll take that guy any day.
Yeah.
It just I
And
don't understand why we don't use him more often.
and I don't want to beat up Taron Johnson any more than I am already because I love the guy,
Yeah.
but this is more on the Bills coaches. So for instance,
Yeah.
you know, Taron Johnson was beat on that pass. He blew the coverage on the touchdown pass to Taylor. He got beat by Taylor, and then he also had a pass interference on a play that we had sacked the quarterback. Pass interference. I'm sorry, it was a holding call. It was a holding call that kept the drive alive for them, and you just can't have those things happen. And the defensive coaches. I mean, McDermott is a defensive-minded coach. He was a defensive coordinator. Maybe that's why he got released by Philly. I don't know, but I'm just saying, can he and Frazier not come up with a game plan? Are you kidding me? Two guys that
it's
have
inexcusable.
I mean,
Inexcusable.
so I don't know.
But then again, you know what, Mike? It does start up front, and I think the one bright spot on our D line was Eddie Oliver. I thought he played a really good game, and he has shown a lot of improvement this year. So I've been very happy with him. So I can at least take that away from this game. But I mean,
yeah,
Mario Addison missing that sack, that could have
Oh,
been a potential game changer
that was
too.
a huge play. Huge play.
Yep.
Well, we said
Yep.
that we said Wentz was mobile, and he made a play when he had to, and
Yep.
he didn't make mistakes. God, he threw the ball 20 times. He had 11 completions, and he didn't have to do much. But when he did, he made a play. I mean, when you run the ball 46 times, you don't have to do much. Play action. It's a pretty simple game for a quarterback when you have a guy dominating, right? Play action, you're gonna have the advantage against the secondary all day long. Anyhow, I feel a little better getting that off my chest. Let me
just release the demons, get them off. You know,
I mean, I had to come to the realization, Jake, that we're at this point. Am I giving up? No, of course. I love this team. Am I giving up on hopes? No, but we're 6-4, and we have the Patriots ahead of us right now. Now I get it. If we win, I mean, we've won all our division games. They lost to Miami early on, so we have the slight edge there. It's going to come down to December, but we got the Saints. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. We got the Bucks, and then we got the Patriots, and we play the Patriots I think twice within about a 3-week span. So thankfully we play them at home. Although
the Patriots Monday night at home, December 6th.
I mean, it doesn't. Home field hasn't felt like home field. Usually we win all these games.
Yeah.
So anyhow, let's greet the folks in the channel. Brandon, still out there. Thanks for coming out there, buddy. From Sunday morning at 10 a.m. to Tuesday evening at 9 p.m. Oh man, the energy is so different. You're awake. Absolutely agree. Blinky,
Nice.
If we don't win the division, might need to delete some tweets.
Shoot.
And then your dad, Big Al, says the whole team needs to stand on the sideline and cheer every down and put some urgency in every play. The Bills Mafia never gives up. And then, and then I think Josh needs to take control of the offense and call his own plays like
I agree
Jim
with that.
Kelly used to do. Absolutely. Do it. I mean, make an adjustment, Josh. I mean, you're paid a lot of money. Now, the thing that Kelly had that Josh did not have, Kelly had a guy named Thurman Thomas.
Absolutely.
I mean, so they had that running game when they needed it. And again, we've said get away from this running game, but we've had some, we've had quite a few rain games this year, it felt like, right? We've had about 2 or 3 now that just kind of ruin our game plan. And thank goodness we're going back to a dome this week. So hopefully that'll help us out a lot. But let's see. Do I have any other notes on that game? No.
All the anti-roofers right now, Mike, including myself, are just crawling. But I totally understand it. I get it. 100% understand why you want to play in a dome after this past game. We don't want to see any more bad football. Apparently, we can't play in this bad weather, so maybe we just build a dome, call it a day.
And
maybe I have to take that side now. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, there's other reasons to have the dome. Maybe we could keep it open, but we'll have another show on that all alone by itself. But I've heard a lot. I was watching social media. I'm like, wow, we were missing Star and we were missing Edmonds, and that's why they're able to run. Maybe, but you know what? Every team at this time of the year has a lot of injuries. I mean, we're going to look at the injury here for the Saints, and they're mostly all questionable, but it's a heck of a long list here. And so every team is struggling with injuries. And I mean, these Colts got off to a 1-4 start, worked their way back to 5-5, 500, totally destroyed us. And if you were to ask me who's the best team in the AFC right now, it's the Colts. It's the Colts. But it changes week to week. I don't know.
It does.
Kansas City's getting better. I mean, they're coming back now. And then here's his Patriots over the shoulder here. I'm like, what? Yep. This team's been destroying teams. Their defense is pretty, if you look now after that game last week, it's right there with ours. So, man, oh man, we just put ourselves. We had one of the easiest schedules. I don't know. We were gifted with one of the easiest schedules on the year. When you look at all the contenders and all the games that they had, the schedules, we had one of the softest, and we let teams like the Jags beat us, and we blew those opportunities. And now we're in a dogfight. We're in a complete dogfight. And
this is really where we show what we're made of, though, honestly. I mean, we have to, I would say we have to at least go 5-2 the rest of the year to really sniff the playoffs. We need 11 wins. I think that's the target right now. With how the AFC has been, it just, I think 11 wins is what we should shoot for.
That's what I said to Rick. He texted me, the guy, Rick's on our show. Yeah. He's like, man, the Bills stink. I was like, and I'm like, this game for sure. He goes, well, don't worry about it. Every team seems to be stinking in the AFC. I mean, from week to week, somebody's upsetting somebody. The only thing I can take away from this game, again, I think I already used this once with the Jaguars, and that was the Buccaneers getting a whooping last year. And I think week 11, I think it was 38-3
to the Saints.
Yeah, to the Saints.
38-3. Yeah,
and they went on to win the Super Bowl, and that's what I'm hanging my hopes on. But I use that for the Jags. I don't know if I can use it two times in 3 weeks.
I know. I hear you. Yeah. It is just very disheartening. You don't know what team we have. One week we look like we're Super Bowl contenders. The next week we look like we don't belong in the NFL, and we should just be relegated to playing spring football or something and playing in a different league. I don't know. It's insane.
Totally
the USFL, by the way, they're coming back. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Yep. So they just announced today they're bringing back a lot of the old teams too from the 80s when they were, around. They were from 83 to 86. They were around for about 3 seasons there. And so they're coming back in spring of 2022. I think April is when they're going to start the games, and it's going to be like 10-game seasons. Yep.
I was so heated, Jake, that I think I forgot to tell folks that the giveaway link is in the description, and it's very similar to our giveaway last month. Basically, you go in there, and this time we're asking you, tell us your favorite holiday memory. It's the holidays, man. Let's hear some favorite holiday memories. I'm already seeing a bunch of those, and we'll talk about those on future shows. The link's in the description. Again, you put in your name, you put in your email. It asks for your birth date. It's not required. You do have to be 18 to participate in this, unfortunately. And I always tell those folks that are under 18, go get your family, go get your parents, go get your grandparents, get somebody and come on over and get you in on that. So $500 gift card for Fanatics. Can't go wrong. I see Antonio joining us. Thursday is a must win. And I think Antonio couldn't agree more. We're going to get into that in a little bit. And thank you again, Antonio. You were one of the first guys in the giveaway. On Sunday, you let me know there was a little problem with the setup. We weren't capturing the favorite holiday. I made a quick adjustment, and I appreciate you, Antonio, for letting me know and being one of the first guys out there. So awesome stuff.
Hey, for the record too, Antonio, I did lose my voice for a little bit. It's starting to come back. So I think I made a full recovery since Sunday. So that's a good thing.
So let me go off this slide. We talked about most of it. Again, Jonathan Taylor rushes for 185 yards. 204 total yards, 5 touchdowns. There were some happy people in fantasy football, whoever had Jonathan Taylor. I'm glad I didn't play him. I had a huge week, but if I would have played the Jonathan Taylor, I would have lost to that team. The Colts controlled the clock for over 37 minutes. They rushed the ball 46 times, averaging almost 6 yards per carry. The Bills turned the ball over 4 times, resulting in 21 points. Obviously, that's huge, right? Sean McDermott, I mean, penalties. It's supposed to be a well-disciplined team, but penalties, turnovers, you're not going to win. And these were the two top takeaway teams. Like the Bills came in as the number one takeaway team, and the Colts are right behind them. Now it's swapped.
Yeah.
It's swapped. Yep. So they got us by 1. We had 7 penalties for 56 yards, and they all came at crucial times. Every time I'm like, yes, we got to stop, get the ball back. Oh, flag out.
Just shoot yourself in the foot,
I mean,
every time.
Things are really, really bad when Tyler Bass misses 2 field goals. You just know it. But you could just sense that was going to happen with that weather. Although the Colts kicker seemed to have no problem adjusting to the weather.
Shout out to Michael Badgley. I was really hoping to see Rodrigo Blankenship, but didn't happen.
Yeah. And then Josh Allen was just all over the place. Like I said early on when I vented, this is on him as well. This is on him. Yep. I'm no longer giving him the excuse that the O-line is not blocking for him. He's got to be the leader. $250 million. Come on, man. You've got to be a leader and talk to your team.
Challenge him, Mike. Challenge him.
Yeah, let's see. Antonio, the AFC, Z-Bell jumping in there. The AFC is so strange this season. There's no dominant team there. We need to remind everyone that we are not down and out here. Absolutely. We're gonna turn this around. But I had, like I said when we started the show, I had no one to vent to. Nobody. My wife doesn't listen to me, but shout out to her for going to that game.
How did she take it? Now, when she was watching the game, did she tune right out, or was she like into it, or how did that go?
Jake, the bottomless mimosas helped tremendously. So she was fine, having those, kept feeding her bottomless mimosas. And she did see the concern on my face. She was a little bummed for me.
And then she drank more.
And then she just had a little bit more. So she had a great time.
Brilliant. I love
and then we left and went and did some fun things afterwards. But man, I got to tell you, it was so hard to get past that day. She's like, "Are you going to be moping the whole day?" And I'm like, No, we're not going to ruin our anniversary celebration. So I got past it. But I have been suffering ever since, and this is why I had to get it out there. So you're right, Z-Bell. We were just saying that every week. There's no dominant team in the AFC. Every week, every time. Like you asked me this week, it's the Colts. I said that a little earlier. But you asked me last week, it was the Ravens, and you asked me the week before that, it was the Bengals at one time. So it's changing every week. Final thoughts, Jake, for you on that game.
Throw it in the garbage. Forget about it. It's done. Everyone needs to forget about this, have full amnesia. I'm sure those coaches went immediately to their office and just stayed the night because this is a tough one to swallow. And we have this game Thursday, so it's like immediate. I mean, you're right back to work. Get into this game Thursday, get a win. Luckily, we have a lot of injuries that we're dealing with on the Saints end. So it could be a nice advantage for us. Don't count on that because we've seen how we can play and underestimate these teams too. But it'll be nice because after the Saints game, we kind of have like a mini bye week in a way.
Yeah.
We don't have a game until that Monday nighter against New England, which is December 6th. So
it's a great opportunity to get healthy. And Antonio, we did touch on the Star missing, and of course Edmonds missing. A lot of folks on social media like, well, if we had those two guys, I kind of said, absolutely, you're right. Star, I've been singing his praises all year. Not having him last year, he's huge in the middle, as well as Edmonds not being there. But again, I said all teams are dealing with injuries, and I'm not giving them, that's not an excuse. We can't use an excuse. Next man up. I'm using McDermott. I see him. I watch his post games, and they're like, next man up, and they ask him about, well, how's Spencer Brown doing? When they're going to be back from COVID? He's like, I don't even want to talk about them. They're not here right now.
Yeah.
So next man up.
What's crazy is too, I mean, and I understand, obviously these are key players and it helps tremendously when they're on the field, but is it their fault that Isaiah McKenzie fumbled? Is it their fault that Josh didn't play well? Is it their fault that we just totally lost at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage? I don't think so. I think part of it, maybe, on our D-line especially, because it could have potentially helped run stopping a little bit.
Yeah.
But you have to make the adjustments. The coaching wasn't good. The players that were in did not play good enough. I think everyone feels that. I think all the players feel that. And we'll get back on track. I feel good about us. And I didn't feel great on Sunday. I didn't feel even good yesterday. I had a pit in my stomach all day. But you got to think, Mike, we're still a 6-4 team. We're going into New Orleans. We have some neutral weather, which is nice, and maybe we just throw the ball all over them. We'll see.
Yeah. So you talked about that fumble, and you're right. The four turnovers, the one by Mitch late in the game was out of control. That really didn't mean anything. But the three turnovers before that, especially that one before half, it was 17-7. They're kicking off to us, and one of the hardest hitters in the game today, the turf, stripped the ball.
Yeah.
It's the hardest
like
hitter.
that.
Hardest hitter in the game today is that turf monster. And yeah, it was slippery. And all right, look, he's running. He's trying to, plant the foot and go. Obviously, he slips, hits the ground. I can see the ball coming out, right? It's hard to secure the ball in that particular case.
It's so hard. I'm such an Isaiah McKenzie fan, but I feel like a lot of the plays lately that he's been involved with are so boom or bust. Either he makes a really bad play or he makes a really good play. Being a special teams player, and actually a guy from our fantasy league, shout out to Dan Heim, brought this up to me at the game. He came down. He was actually a few rows up from us. Came down, talked to me about this, and he said, "Listen, as a returner, all you have to do is just hold on to the football, maybe pick up a few yards, and don't make a mistake. Don't cough it up. You don't have to take one to the house every time. Just consistently catch the football and maybe gain a few yards, maybe fair catch it. Just whatever you do, just allow the offense to get possession of the football again."
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know what's going on there. He is having some struggles, and I think he's going to get back on track, but it's hard right now. It's hard to, especially when we had Andre Roberts last year, who really didn't make mistakes like this. Like, it's hard to justify saying, "Oh, well, he's an easy replacement now." I mean, you felt like that maybe at the beginning of the year because I think Isaiah was doing well, and like I said, he still makes those big returns, and a lot of them have been called back, which that's not his fault either. But especially at the timing when he fumbles, the timing of the game when he makes these bad plays, it's just so demoralizing. It kills the team, and it never really allows their offense to get in a rhythm either. I mean, coming off a big return, I think your offense is juiced up. That helps too. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot that goes into it. It's hard to stick up for Isaiah right now. I still love the guy to death, and I hope he gets back on track. But it's tough right now. It really is.
Yeah, this is the third time, right? So he misplayed that one in the Washington game, which gave them the ball. Fortunately, we blew their game. We blew them away there, so it didn't cost us. But he had that big muff punt in the Miami game, which he got super lucky. I don't know. I still to this day don't know how that thing.
I don't know how we got that back
outside the to the back of the end zone, and then this one, this past Sunday. Now I don't know if you know, but a guy named Marquise Stevenson has finally been activated off the IR as of Tuesday. And McDermott said anything's possible. He could be activated for the game. What I think they might be doing there is just kind of giving Isaiah a little bit
maybe
of
light a little fire under his butt.
Yeah, exactly. I was pulling for Stevenson, even my little boy Jonah. I don't know why. I mean, maybe he just saw his dad cheering for him, but
he does bring him up every time I've talked with Jonah. I feel like he talks about Marquise.
Yeah, he's always asking about him. Do you think Stevenson's going to start at all this year, Dad? I'm like, probably not. But now I see this, and who knows? Maybe we just need a spark, and maybe he could be that spark like Breda, like Breda. Breda, what do you like to use? I go back and forth. Sometimes I use Breda, sometimes I use Breda. But I think Breda for sure, and we'll see. I hope, like you said, Isaiah has made some nice runs. Obviously, he had that one callback that went for the touchdown against Tennessee, and he's made some good plays. But man, those turnovers are huge.
Killers.
I mean, I don't know. On that return that he fumbled, the fact that he lost his footing and hit the ground hard, that's a tough one to kind of protect from losing the ball. But again, I feel like I'm making excuses, so I'll stop that right now.
We make a lot of excuses, Mike, and I think we're really giving these guys the benefit of the doubt. We can't keep doing that. It's enough's enough,
I agree. All right, well, it's been a while. Let's give out the bonus code. We have bonus codes again, everybody. So let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to go with Santa Rocks. Santa Rocks, one word, SATA Santa Rocks. You use that, go to the giveaway, you'll get 5 entries. All right, cool. Let's move on to the injury report. So this is as of today. We don't have the latest. And Jake, if you've heard anything else, I kind of scoured the internet looking for some additional information, but I haven't seen anything. It looks like Spencer Brown and Starr will still be out on the COVID list unless you see anything. Feliciano, to me, I know we put him back in IR, and I believe it's been 3 weeks, but I haven't heard anything about him coming off the IR.
I haven't heard anything either.
So I think we'll be without him again. Cole Beasley, he's been questionable now for the last 3 weeks, dealing with that rib injury. I think he's going to be on that list for a while. And then Marquis Stevenson, as I mentioned, I put him on here. He's been activated off the IR. Interesting thing about that is he actually has 21 days, what they consider practice. He can practice up to 21 days before they have to either sign him on the active squad or put him back to the practice squad. So we'll see.
Right.
And I did see something that he could potentially be activated for this game. I don't know. Possibility.
That would be huge. That would be really interesting. Might shake things up a little bit, Mike.
Yeah, I know.
But like I said, it might light a fire under Isaiah McKenzie's ass.
Might light a fire. I mean, he's another 4.3 something guy on the 40, super fast, and I know McKenzie is as well. We just haven't used McKenzie. I mean, you keep screaming for it, and he's been in there, not giving him the ball, not throwing him, and I guess they're worried. Now they don't have to worry. They got Marquise. Let's use one of these guys. I mean, let's utilize their speed, stretch the defense a little bit so these other guys can take advantage of that. Antonio, the trenches were atrocious. Absolutely. We stunk it up. And then 1,000%. Any concern with Dab's play calling? Yeah.
Yes. A whole lot of concern. It's, conservative play calling. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. We're holding our own players back. And, I think it starts with Sean McDermott. He's the head coach. He's the ultimate guy given the okay for everything. And I'll tell you this, it just irks me because this is a guy who's a player coach. And I think he does believe in his players, but the way that he's making these decisions, it doesn't show it. So let's be more aggressive. Let's go for it on 4th down every freaking time. I don't care. I mean, if we're less than 4th and 5, go for it. I don't care. I don't care where we're at. Just go for it. It is what it is. We got to stop. We got to stop with the field goals. Let me rephrase this too. If we're across the 50 and it's less than 4th and 5, we're going for it. I think it's definitely a decision that has to be made. We can't just settle for field goals. You can't just settle for 3, even at the end of the half. I mean, it's like, what's going on here? I mean, timeouts and all that too. It's just, you're basically running the clock out for the Colts, allowing them to just walk into the locker room, and they had a huge lead. So it's just so many things go into it, and it's just so frustrating. I don't know what's going on there. It's time to step it up, though.
Yeah, I agree with going for it on 4th. I was actually disappointed he didn't on a couple plays. I mean, I guess the 56-yarder before, I guess it was 3rd and 8 or something like that, but I get that one. But late in the game, like you said,
right? The third quarter one.
I'll tell you what.
8 minutes left in the third.
I was talking to someone earlier, one of my coworkers, and we were just kind of talking about how it's become like a Madden league. Everyone's going for it on 4th down, no matter where they are. Like the Chargers, dude. The Chargers will go for it on 4th down on their own side of the 50. They've done it at least once or twice. It's burned them, but they're going for it. I mean, and why not? If you're 4th and 5 and you have confidence in your team and you're on the other side of the 50, why not? Go for it.
Come on. With how our defense has played historically, we played pretty good defensively. I mean, I know last week was just an absolute train wreck, but for the most part this season, I do have a lot of faith in our defense still. I think we can still get it done, and we can be that elite defense. We've shown it. So take a chance.
Yeah.
Roll the dice.
I agree. I mean, as long as it's not a Henry or a Jonathan Taylor, and I think we're done with all the big running backs. Although I know the Patriots have a pretty good running back crew this
year. You don't know who's going to go off there.
So we'll see. I mean, we're gonna face another good running game at that point. All right, so let's go over to New Orleans. You can see, I mean, a lot of these folks, C.J. Gardner on IR, Landon Young out. Ty Montgomery, questionable. Ryan Ramczyk, questionable. Alvin Kamara, questionable. Now that's a big one. I know he's been out for a while now.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything as far as him even practicing. So
I know he didn't practice on Monday.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing, and I know there were some articles talking about the potential of him missing another game. Everything seems to be pointing in that direction right now, but I haven't heard anything,
Yeah. So
concrete.
to know passing, I don't even know how to say that name.
Yep.
Taron Armstead, Adam Troutman, doubtful. That was a big one, right? Because you actually were going to talk about him.
Yeah.
Mark Ingram's questionable as well. So if they both miss, both him and Kamara, that's going to be huge benefit to us, of course. Marcus Davenport, obviously he's questionable, and Malcolm Roach is on the IR. So Davenport's another big one. So lots of guys on this side. Again, I don't know. We won't know until closer to game time if any one of these are going to miss. But I'm always assuming when I see lists like this that they're all playing. Let's assume the worst. And if we get a few breaks where we don't have a Kamara or Ingram, which I'm pretty sure Ingram's going to play. But if we don't, or we don't have a Davenport, then great. All the better for us. But let's assume the worst. All right, let's move on to the weather report. And man, we got some crazy weather rolling in. Games played indoors.
Winds are 1,000 miles per hour.
Right. So we got some rain now. We're good. This is probably something we need. Maybe we, remember the greatest show on turf? Maybe that's what we need. We need something to jumpstart us. And I think we're in definite need of this. These rain games just have not been kind to us at all. All right. A little bit about the Saints. I always like to give a little bit about the team we're going up against. Obviously, last year, Drew Brees retired. Unfortunately, they lost Jameis Winston for the season with a torn ACL back in week 8. Michael Thomas lost for the season with an ankle setback. They had expected him back somewhere around week 6 or 7. Not happening. I mean, just look at those names right there. Losing Brees, I kind of felt would be, obviously it was a big hit to them. And Jameis was doing all right.
Yeah, he was getting it done.
Yeah, he was doing all right. And then Michael Thomas, and then Mark Ingram coming back, being traded from Houston. It was nice to see him coming back here, and he gets it done. You and I kind of talked about Ingram. Man, it would have been nice. It would have been nice to be able to get him over here before the trade deadline for that leadership. And the guy can still run, man. He puts it all out there every play. Let's see. Defense, they're ranked 10th in points per game, 21.8. They're 11th in takeaways with 14. They're 10th in yards per game with 342. 22nd in passing yards per game, 352. And their 3rd rushing yards. So very tough rushing defense, although you wouldn't have known it last week against Philly. Philly kind of lit them up, especially Jalen Hurts and Sanders. They're 14th in sacks on the year with 23. On the offensive side of things, they're 24th overall total yards per game, 321.3. 13th in overall rush yards per game, and 26th in overall passing yards per game, and they're 14th in points per game. So they put up points, but you can see where they're getting it done. They're getting it done on the ground. So that scares me, right? That if I am the Saints and I saw what happened last week, they're going to be trying to run that ball. They're going to try to run that ball. And they have
a pretty good offensive line. I don't know if Ryan Ramczyk's going to play or not. I know he was listed as questionable, and he's kind of the leader of that offensive line, him and Taron Armstead. And I actually think Taron Armstead isn't even starting anymore. He lost out to James Hurst, maybe it was. Okay. Yes, James Hurst. Yeah. So, and I think they might be a rotational thing going on there too. I'm not sure exactly, but they have a pretty good offensive line, as I was saying. So that's going to be a test as well.
Anyone else? Anything else I'm missing about the Saints? Obviously, they've had a lot of injuries. To their credit, they're 5-5. They're fighting for a playoff spot, and so this is going to be 6-4 against a 5-5 team. And their defense is legit as well. I mean, we're going to talk about some of their guys, but they have some studs in defense, and they're going to give us problems. And if we're going to try to run the ball, they're one of the best against the rush. So I don't know. Let me go back here and make sure we got everybody covered with the questions. Z-Bell saying we're slowly starting to see the emergence of the running back again. And I think it's because teams have been shifting to faster and smaller linebackers and defensive ends. We combat that with
No
bigger
doubt about
personnel.
that.
Yep, totally agree. And then let's see. Wow, the Saints are actually missing quite a few pieces. Alvin, Ryan, Ramczyk, Marcus Davenport. Yep, Adam Troutman. For sure. For sure. Wow, Antonio going big with his prediction.
I
already.
love that, Antonio. Let's go. Yes. 28-7. That would be huge.
By the way, I've been meaning to ask Antonio or any one of our regulars, if you guys, I would love to have you on a show, join Jake and I for a
That'd be
segment
fun.
of the show. It'd be cool to bring you on and have you give some thoughts. So let me know, hit me up afterwards and let me know if you'd be interested in possibly doing that. All right, so that's just on Saints info. Key matchups, Jake. Let's go to your key matchups. You got Stephon Diggs versus Marshawn Lattimore.
Yep. You want to talk about a tough, gritty matchup, Mike? This is the one we've been looking for. Two physical football players. Stephon Diggs, very physical off the line. He gets engaged with these corners a lot. It's going to be a high emotion game. Marshawn Lattimore likes to pick on guys. He likes to get into their head a little bit. I don't know if you saw a couple weeks ago him and DK Metcalf going at it, throwing punches at each other and whatnot. So hopefully we can keep our emotions in check because he is a feisty guy. He's a hell of a corner. He's a shutdown corner. It's going to be a great test. He always plays well against big name receivers too. So going to be a good test for Stephon Diggs. I want to target him a lot. I want to see that physical matchup. I think ultimately Stephon Diggs wins this matchup, and it's going to be fun to watch. So keep your eye on it. You're not going to be able to miss it. So it's going to be super fun. I am pumped for that for sure.
All right.
Then
the Bills D-line versus the Saints O-line. And you got a comment when you texted me, you're like, anyone, please call on anyone. Sack. Can we get a sack?
Please. We need a sack. We need to register a few sacks this game. Trevor Siemian and that quarterback. I like Trevor Siemian a lot. He might be the fourth Manning brother that's long lost. A lot of memes are going around about that, which is hilarious. I love it. And he's honored. He said he was honored about it. But it's time to take advantage of this a little bit. They're banged up at receiver. They're banged up at tight end. Offensive line, banged up too. Taron Johnson's been playing banged up all year. Like I said, he's kind of been rotating in and out with that James Hurst. So, they have a good offensive line. Ryan Ramczyk's also questionable. Interior is pretty solid. Cesar Ruiz is a pretty solid player. It's going to be fun. I think our defensive line can rebound. And I feel like we have the guys that can do it. They just need to get their potential. They have to reach their potential this week. It's going to be enormous. Eddie Oliver's been playing really good football. I would like to see a little bit more out of Greg Rousseau. I know, Mike, you had him as an impact player last week. We expected a lot more. Maybe now is the time to take advantage of those banged up tackles, and maybe we get a couple sacks. We need it. We need to get pressure on Trevor Siemian. They're going to be throwing the football a little bit. They're going to be running it with Mark Ingram. A little bit of push interior. That would be nice to see too. But yeah, that's going to be key for sure. I mean, it all starts up front. We saw last week, we were totally dominated up front, and that was really the story of the game. So we have to establish dominance immediately, because the second we lose out, the second they get a couple of big runs, Mark Ingram's going to take advantage of it. Maybe they hit a couple deep throws. They got some deep weapons: Marquez Callaway, Deontay Harris, Traquan Smith. So yeah, we got to get after it. We do. And our young guys got to get after it, because really, they're the future of this team, and if they want to be here, they got to start showing something.
Yeah, I saw Boogie in there a little bit last week as well. I mean,
I love that. I love seeing Boogie.
What do you think's happened, Jake? I mean, we drafted these guys to get. I mean, our biggest thing was like we need to get more sacks, and screw the pressures. Yeah, we get some pressures, but I mean, I'm not seeing anybody on their back often. What's going on? What do you think's happening there?
I don't know.
Did we just not get the talent we thought we did?
I don't think that's the case. I think we're just, I don't know, Mike. We're not getting the pressure. We're just not getting there. And the thing is, if we do get there, it seems like we're not making the play. We're not finishing plays. So we saw with Mario Addison last week. He doesn't make that sack. Maybe if he does make that sack, it's a huge game changer. So we got to finish plays, and got to be able to stop the run too.
Yeah.
Interior wise. We have to
stop the turnovers. Like you said, if those turnovers don't happen and those penalties don't happen, you can say it's a completely different game, but still the dominance was just there. So I see Antonio. Yeah. Email me. We'd love to have you. Jake and I would love to have you on here for a little bit. So
that'd be awesome.
Let's do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Yeah, Big Al saying Sanders and Davis will have a big day and have 3 linebackers. So that's a good segue, Big Al, into my key matchups. So first of all, I got specific here, and I'm not going to go deep into Cameron Jordan or Marcus Davenport because I know you have them as impact players. I'm going to let you give all the juicy details on those guys. But our 2 tackles are going to have their hands full, and my goodness, the Bills better be prepared to help those guys out. They better be prepared to help those tackles out. Please change the scheme a little bit and get some help blocking. But I'm going to let you talk about those 2 guys in the next slide because I know they're your impact players. So I'm calling out the tackles. Let's go. Then I have the Saints Russian attack, and I was going to go specific with Ingram. Then I saw him show up on the injury report. I still think it'll be Ingram because Kamara's been out for a few weeks. But whoever it is versus our front 7 and Big Al, we talked about it last week. We mentioned it. The great Steve Tasker said, and I brought it up.
Yeah.
Go with 3 linebackers, a little less of Taron. It's okay. I love Taron. You can still play, but 90% when you're getting run over, 90% of the snaps when you're getting, just run over by a train, no, adjust. Take him out. Let's drop him down to 40% of the snap count and put a bigger linebacker in there. I mean, there are teams that still run 3 linebackers, right? Or has everyone gone to
100%.
this new little nickel?
It's interesting, Mike. The league has changed a lot with that. My buddy Ian brought it up. I mean, the linebackers are a little bit smaller, a little more athletic. They can cover now, but it's still out there. It's still a thing, and I think it would be a great thing for the Bills to do every once in a while. I get that Taron Johnson can play the run, but having bigger personnel, those 3 linebackers, that would be huge. 3 guys that could stop the run, bigger bodies, take on the blocks a little bit better. It makes sense to me. I don't know why we don't do it.
I mean, Edmonds was not on the injury list, which is good. It means he's going to be playing. So to have Edmonds, Klein, Milano, and I mean, that's awesome. Shout out to Milano, by the way. I mean, yes, the defense got destroyed. That guy had a sore shoulder going in. Dude, he was all over. The guy was hustling every play. So shout out to him. He did all that he could do. But I'm like, damn, whatever that shoulder injury was, and he's just out there balling, and it was impressive. So shout out to him. So yeah, front 7, you talked about all the problems they have right now, the injuries. If I'm that team, I'm going to be running the ball. I'm going to try to start with the run against the team that they just saw get destroyed against the run. Again, we think we'll be able to stop that. They don't have a Jonathan Taylor, but they have a Mark Ingram and that guy. And if they have Kamara
a guy like Mark Ingram is perfect. That's the perfect type of back to run against the Bills. Power and a little bit of speed. Guy that can catch the ball a little bit too and be sneaky athletic like that.
Yeah.
That is the key ingredient against the Bills defense. It seems to be the case, at least.
So Big L, I'm right there with you with those 3 linebackers. Let's see a little bit of that. Come on now. All right, let's move on to your impact players. On the Bills side, you got Ed Oliver. I think it's the first time we might have given Oliver a shout out this year. It is. So that's nice. Matt Milano and Matt Breida. So go ahead and talk to me about those guys.
So Ed Oliver, I talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the show. I think he's shown an insane amount of improvement from last year to this year. He's starting to show why he was a first-round pick. There was a specific play, and it's been retweeted a few times, where he totally blew up a wham block. You have this, he comes through the line, takes on the blocker, and then he gets a tackle for a loss. And you know what? A lot of people are like, well, why are you you celebrate all these plays and you're down by so many points. Well, guess what? The guy's bringing a little energy to the defense. I love that. I love to see guys celebrate after a big play like that. Go ahead, celebrate, get your teammates fired up, keep them in the game, keep them engaged. There was no emotion from us at all. I want to see more emotion out of this team because I know that they play for each other. They love each other. Sean McDermott's done a really good job with all that. But Sunday, they were dead. I mean, there was no emotion on the sideline. Josh looked pissed off. Even after the game, you just saw him. He just ran right into the tunnel. I mean, it was tough. It was tough to watch. So love seeing that. I think Eddie Oliver has proved so much, and I'm really looking forward to the interior battle between him, Cesar Ruiz, and a couple of those guards for the Saints. It's going to be fun to watch for sure, and he might have another big, impactful game. So would love to see it. And then one of the two Matts that I had mentioned here, Matt Milano, we just talked about him too, Mike. He was all over the place. He's been banged up this year, still continues to make plays. He finds a way to get involved in each play. He's good in coverage. He's a pretty good tackler too. And I think when he's fully healthy, I mean, he's playing like a Pro Bowl linebacker right now. Fully healthy, he has capabilities of being an All-Pro. I mean, he is that good. He's been such a good piece to our defense. I'm so happy we signed him to the big extension. He fully deserved it. And love the guy to death. He's going to be a big impact guy. Adam Troutman's out. I don't even know who's playing tight end for them right now. So going to be very interesting to see. And then you have Matt Breida. Get him more involved. I mean, 5 carries, 51 yards, outside zone runs. Do whatever you have to do. He can catch the ball out of the backfield too. Throw him in on a wheel route. Do something fun. I want to see some more design plays, some design trick plays involving players that can really touch the ball and go 80 yards. They can go the distance. That's a guy who can do it right there. So let's see more of that. I think he's fully established himself as an active roster player. If you have to deactivate Zach Moss, do it because, like I said, Matt Breida needs to be more involved, and I think Devin Singletary now has the upper hand on that battle between the two of them. So him and Zach Moss, that is. So need to see more of it.
I'm looking at the depth chart. It looks like Nick Vannett's going to be playing tight end for them.
Oh, okay, Nick Vannett. Yep, former Seahawk.
So,
yep.
But as far as the Bills go, totally agree. We talked Milano and Breida. He's shown what he can do. I mean, just that 0 to 60 and those first 2 strides and he's off. That's something we've been missing for a while. So let's go. We brought him over here for a reason.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, the guy's a game changer.
Absolutely.
He can
one play.
Quite literally. Yeah.
So let's go with that. So let's New Orleans Saints. Let's talk about, we mentioned Lattimore already, and you can talk about him a little more. And then you got Marcus Davenport and Cameron Jordan, who I said was one of the key matchups. So go into detail about those.
Absolutely. So first off, Marshawn Lattimore, tough, gritty corner, all-pro corner, Pro Bowl corner. It's going to be a really good test for Stephon Diggs. Going to be interesting to see how they play it. I think it's going to be a physical matchup. They're going to be battling a little bit. They're going to be jawing at each other. Marshawn likes to get in the head of his receivers that he plays against. We saw DK Metcalf take a swing at him 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So it's going to be fun. I'm really, really excited for that matchup. And, it's going to be a good test for Stephon Diggs. He's always played pretty well against big-name corners, so I think it's time he gets it done again. So I think he's going to win the matchup. It's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of contested catches he needs to make, and he's shown that he can make those contested catches. So we need to quadruple his targets. 6 targets last week is ridiculously low. He needs to be double digits every game. I don't care. Whatever you have to do, force feed him the ball. So it's going to be fun. Marcus Davenport. So shout out to him. First round pick out of UTSA, one of the only remaining undefeated college football teams in the nation. They should be higher ranked. I know they don't play a great schedule, but would love to see them get a crack at the top 10 spot at least. UTSA Roadrunners, absolutely love it. He was a first round pick in 2018. He's kind of been banged up throughout his whole career. And this year, the last 3 games, he has been on fire. He's been on a tear. Another huge, lengthy guy, similar size to Greg Rousseau, actually, 6'6", 265, and he's got 5.5 sacks this year. He had 2 sacks last game, or it was 1.5 sacks last game, 10 tackles against the Eagles. Absolutely tore them apart. And our tackles, oh man, I am sincerely worried about what's going to happen there on the outside between Marcus Davenport, and then you have an all-pro, potential future Hall of Famer even, and Cameron Jordan on the other side. Like, holy crap. I mean, it's going to be scary. So those guys, it's going to be a test. It's going to be an absolute test. We talk about this every week. We played against some pretty good edge rushers / DNs over the last few weeks. This is no exception. Marcus Davenport, young guy, learning under the wing of Cameron Jordan. And last year they had Trey Hendrickson. He's been a great fill-in for him too. So going to be very interesting to watch. And then Cameron Jordan, let's talk about him a little bit. He's been the staple of that Saints D since 2011. Funny story about Cameron Jordan. I don't know if you've heard this one, Mike. So there was a tight end who played for the Browns named Jordan Cameron. He was a Pro Bowl tight end, pretty good. Yep. Ended up playing with the Dolphins, finished his career there. But with the Browns, he was fantastic. I mean, really good football player, just a lot of concussions. So on draft day in 2011, the Saints had already drafted Cameron Jordan in the first round, and then the Browns were up on the clock, and it was like the 4th round. So they called Cameron Jordan's name instead of Jordan Cameron's name, which is hilarious. It's the most Browns thing of all time. So of course this happened, and this is when the franchise was in total disarray. Seems like they're getting back to that right now with the whole Baker Mayfield drama, but that's something else to be talked about at another time. But it was hilarious to hear that story, and then Cameron Jordan telling the story. It was even funnier. So just some funny trivia right there. But yeah, he's been an unbelievable player his entire career. He's got 98.5 career sacks. I think this year he's only got 4 sacks, so his numbers are down a touch, but he's been so consistent. He's a dominating presence, takes on a lot of double teams. He's huge, just an enormous piece to that defense. So yeah, good luck, Deion Dawkins. I don't know, man. It's
well, I mean, they know what's coming. It seems like any defensive end above average in the league has just given us lots of trouble. And these guys are definitely much better than above average defensive ends. These guys are studs. So yeah, it's going to be a battle. And I mean, obviously they're going to have to scheme for it and put some help back there. Drop Dawson Knox back like they do a lot, and the running back as well. I mean, what do you see to counter that? What do you see? Like, okay, your tackles are going to struggle. What are you going to do to counter that, Jake?
You got to get a chip on them, getting off the line. Maybe you take Dawson Knox. Maybe you throw Tommy Sweeney. Maybe you run double tight end set. I don't know. You got to do something because it requires more than just one offensive tackle to block these guys. They're so athletic.'They're so good. They're fast off the ball. And they're mammoths. They're freaking huge. Cameron Jordan is 6'4", 287 himself. And then on the other side, Marcus Davenport, 6'6", 265. Both are just incredible. I mean, they played really good football this year. And crazy to see Marcus Davenport starting to come into his own because he's going to be scary good if he keeps this up. Like I said, the last 3 games, I think, has pretty much been the majority of his sacks. He's only played, I think, 6 games this year. He's been injured.
Oh.
And he's kind of been injured throughout his whole career, but he's got 5.5 on the year now. So last game he had 1.5 sacks. The game before that he had 2, and then a game before that I think he had 1. So yeah, pretty much all of his sacks coming from the last 3 games. Pretty crazy. So he's been on a tear. Another fun fact about Cameron Jordan while I'm on this topic, his dad, Steve Jordan, played tight end for the Vikings. He was a Pro Bowl tight end with the Vikings, 6-time Pro Bowler back in the 80s and played in the little early 90s too. So fun story there.
Nice. I don't know where you get these facts, but I love it.
I don't know. I'm a psychopath and I go on Pro Football Reference every day of my life, Mike. I love it.
Are you like my
best
son?
Thing in the world.
He's on YouTube constantly watching these sports things, and the things he comes over to me with, and I'm like, is that real? Did you really hear that? And I go look, and I'm like, oh my God, that is real. I forget what it was today, but I go out there, he's always watching something about sports. It's funny, but I love it in the same.
If I could have applied this brain to science or something, who knows what could have been done. It would have been great, but I have all this useless football knowledge. At least I could spit it out on the show.
Hey, it's not useless. I mean, Nickel City Mafia loves that information.
There we go.
We're going to take this channel big, so
I love it.
Love it. So yes, that's good information. All right, let's move on to my impact players. So I think I followed your dad. I didn't type this in when your dad said it. Trust me, I had this slide already put there. But Emmanuel Sanders, he seems overdue for sure. And obviously, if who's going to be watching things, your guy,
Marshawn Lattimore.
So if Lattimore's on him, that's going to give Emmanuel Sanders. Now, Emmanuel Sanders is going against somebody who's pretty tough as well, and I have him over here on the other side as my
Bradley Roby, I believe.
Actually, no, Paulson Adebo.
Okay,
Paulson Adebo.
Yep.
Okay, and I'll talk about him in a second. So got Emmanuel Sanders, Jermaine Edmonds. I've been critical of Edmonds throughout the year, even last year, and but he's back. And let's go, Jermaine. I'm with you, throwing you some love. Need a big play. Need a big game out of you. Need a big game. Help shut down that run. Make them one-dimensional, and I think we can handle that if we can shut down that run and have control of that. And then my boy Devin Singletary, he was mad at me. He tweeted at me when he heard that I had gone over to the Moss side. He was very upset. He kind of said, I'm not going to come back to the Nickel City Mafia until you give me some love. So here it is, Devin Singletary, throwing you a little love.
I like it.
I want to see him and Breda. Forget this the 3-headed monster. It's not working. Again, nothing against Moss. I think Moss he had a great college career. At times, he's a bigger back. If we need a short 1 yard, maybe, but No, let's take him out. Let's try these other two guys.
He ain't no Frank Gore. He's not falling
No,
forward like
no.
Frank Gore does. I could tell you that.
Yeah, so let's give these other guys a shot. Singletary's proven. I told you, it's averaging 5 yards a carry. Now I guess yes, some of that's inflated, and these are coming with attempts under 100. I think he's got 83 attempts on the year, averaging 5 yards, and then we've seen recently what Brady can do. So let's go. And then on the New Orleans Saints, I'm going with some vets and then a rookie. I'm going with Ingram. Right, Ingram's an 11-year vet drafted by New Orleans back in 2011 in the first round. He was the 28th overall. I mean, this guy is just, if you've watched him throughout his career, he's just, such a leader. And again, he gives it all on every down. I really, really impressed with this guy. Wish we could have got him. But there's a leader over there, and I think he's going to be the guy we're facing. And like you said, he's just a tough runner. He's not a Jonathan Taylor by any means, but he's a big, strong guy.
He's been putting up pretty nice numbers.
Yeah, he has been putting up nice numbers. Yeah. So I believe they're going to be starting with that run game. And then I'm going to go over here to Malcolm Jenkins, who's also a big leader on that team, right? Malcolm Jenkins is a 13-year vet. What's cool about both him and Ingram is they were both drafted by New Orleans in the first round. Jenkins was drafted 14th overall back in 2009. They both left New Orleans for a little bit, but here they are towards the tail end of their career.
That is cool.
Back with New Orleans, so that's kind of cool. You don't see that. You don't see that a lot. So here you got two vet leaders on this team, one on offense, one on defense. Man, we have a Sanders. I wish we had somebody on defense that we had a vet like that, but I can't think of the longest running vet that we currently have. I don't think many of our guys have been in the league that long, but
I think
cool
right now it's not even a defensive player. It might be Reed Ferguson, Mike.
Really?
Our long snapper. I think he's right up there.
Wow. So so having two vets like that, I think just adds a lot to a team. Again, any team would love to have these two guys on their squad. And then Paulson, hopefully I say his name right.
Paulson Adebo. Yep.
Okay, he was drafted in the third round this year.
Love that you put him on there.
Out of Stanford. Cool. He started every game this year with the Saints. He's big, physical, 6'1", 192, and the guy can flat out fly. He ran his 40-yard dash was a 4.42. A lot of folks had concerns about him, but when he ran that 4.42
for that size, that's a nice time.
He just put all the negativity. People just all right, this guy's legit. He's got a huge vertical leap, and he's going to be a challenge. If Sanders is going against him, which is probably going to be the case, and I just said Sanders is going to be an impact player, that's going to be another great battle, honestly, Jake. So if you got Diggs and you got Emmanuel Sanders teamed up against these decent corners, I'd say more than decent corners, that maybe leans towards Gabe Davis or Beasley if he gets in there and if he's healthy, or
our boy Isaiah. Maybe we get him involved this week on offense.
Maybe Marquise shocks us all and plays, right? Yeah. Maybe
that'd be neat.
Steven comes in, he takes a little 5-yard quick slant, and he's gone.
Maybe he's like a Robert Foster or something, just a deep threat.
Isn't that crazy this year, Jake? We have not had. What's the longest play from scrimmage for a touchdown? I think it was.
It was the Singletary's 45 So I looked this up because we talked about this the one show. So longest run, that's Devin Singletary, the 45-yarder, 61 yards to Stephon Diggs. It was I think it was against the Dolphins, and someone fell down in coverage or something like that.
But it wasn't a touchdown, was it? Or was it?
I don't know if it was a touchdown or not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The touchdown. I don't know.
Touchdown-wise, yeah.
Because it feels like we just haven't had that. It's crazy to think that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. We don't have a lot of long plays, like you're saying. The point of it is you can't even name a long play that's really happened over the last however many games, really. Look back at the Miami game. That was and this is the first Miami game. This is week 2 of the season.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. This year has just been up and down. I don't know what to think from week to week, but your dad Big L says maybe we should sign Gore one more time. He's probably the weapon we need for the red zone.
You know who we should sign is Philip Lindsay. He just got cut today.
I did see that. I saw. I think he's no better than the guys we have. I'm Breda and Singletary. I've watched Lindsey. I've had him on my fantasy teams in the years past, and I don't see him being any better than what we have.
And
right
it's
now.
sad because the second he came into the league, I mean, he was fantastic. He took the league by storm, and I think injuries sort of derailed him a little bit. And he has not looked great this year with Houston. He's just looked very. I mean, I don't even know what his average yards per carry. I think it's in the 2s or something like that. It's very low. So very, very underwhelming performance.
So let me ask you not an important question. Let me ask you a question because I get asked this, and I've been trying to wrap my head around it. How is it that a team like the Bills goes to the AFC Championship game, we're one win away from going to the Super Bowl? Everyone says we're the favorite to go back to the Super Bowl. We have a decent draft. We retain a lot of the guys from last year. I mean, our team is pretty much the same with some additions. What has happened to this team? Is it the rest of the league has gotten that much better? Is it that we had no one in stadiums last year? Is it that we had a lot of people, take off for COVID last year? What is your answer when someone comes up to you? Because I get that all the time.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I don't know, but I have some speculation. So I think it starts with coaching. I think the coaching has truly hindered the performance of this team. Just decisions like even last week with the field goal attempt on 4th and 5. That's a huge piece in the game. And whether you want to admit it or not, I mean, that's got to kill these players. I mean, you have an offense that's supposed to be this big, bad offense, and it's pretty much the same offense as last year. Probably even better on paper if you really look at it. I mean, we're missing John Feliciano. That's huge. Spencer Brown being out hurts for sure. But outside of that, I mean, our weapons are arguably better than what we had last year, and we're just not putting it all together. It seems like we're burning out short on offense, and then we get some momentum. Maybe we're in field goal range, and it's like a 4th and short, and instead of going for it and instilling some more confidence in your quarterback, instilling some more offense in your offense, or instilling some more confidence in your offense, you kick a field goal. And it's just like, that's so deflating. So there's little things like that. I think Josh is actually holding himself back, and I would like to see him call his own plays from time to time. I would like to see some adjustments being made on the field. Maybe you run an audible, maybe whatever it is. I would love to see some more of that because that is showing growth as a quarterback when you can wave off a play or call a different play at the line of scrimmage. And really, it's kind of basic. You think it's kind of basic. Like a lot of quarterbacks do it every week, but it just really hasn't happened this year. And, some of it is play calling too. I think coaching has been huge. But Josh needs to take the next step. We've seen glimpses of it this year, but it hasn't happened in full. And that's why right now he's not even in the MVP consideration. It's just his stock has dropped so much, and he's got to play better. We can't keep making excuses.
Do you think Jakey has the green light to make the play calls, to change the play?
I think he does. I think Dable does give him the green light for stuff like that. You even saw on the 2-point conversion with Dawson Knox, he was waving that off. He tried to get that off. I mean, obviously still ran the play, but no, I do think he does have a little bit of authority like that, but it just hasn't been happening. And for whatever reason, and you can even see body language wise, sometimes you'll see they call a play and he just looks deflated. He's like, we're really running this right now? Like, it sucks. But yeah.
I've seen him multiple times be frustrated when they didn't go for it on 4th down for sure. So yeah, just like you said, show some confidence in me. Again, this league seems to be leaning towards a Madden league where if you're inside the 50 and 4th and 5 or less, come on, let's go for it. I mean, especially if you're a high quality offense, which we're supposed to be, go for that all the time. Yeah. When I'm asked the question, and I've just been thinking about it, my only answer is, look, we do have pretty much the same team. So everyone watched film with us and on us on the off season. And I said this earlier in weeks past that the book is out on us. So I'm blaming the coaching because we haven't been able to adapt. We haven't been able to come up with something that, if you watch, Jake, so Game Pass, do you have Game Pass by any chance?
I don't. Okay. I should have it though, Mike. I'm a little.
Okay, well, if you're able to watch the game, it's great that you can stop it, rewind it, and you look, our receivers are covered. I mean, they're rushing 4, and they're putting everyone else at back because they know we're not going to run the ball consistently. I mean, we should try it. I mean, I'm backtracking because a few weeks ago we're like, we're done with the run. Please stop running the ball. And here we are now. I'm thinking, well, geez, we can't be one dimensional. It is clear. You know, Tony on our show, when we were doing the AFC over and under, he talked about Tennessee. He picked Tennessee to be the Super Bowl representative from the AFC. And the reason he picked them was because they have what it takes to win playoff games, and that is a running game. And you can say the same thing about Indy, a running game. So in that weather, like we've been experiencing, that running game comes in very handy. Now we have, again, if we can get Breida, going, Breida, and Singletary, if we can get them going and have at least them respected to some degree, and that just opens everything up. So again, my answer to people is, dude, the book's out on us. People are adjusting. Every team seems to run the same scheme week after week against us, and we do nothing. We don't have any answer for it, and we just blame our offensive line, which, yes, they are struggling. I don't know why that is either, because this is a team that took us to the AFC Championship. Right. So, I mean, that's something I can think of. That's my only spin on things. Jake, it makes no sense to me.
It's frustrating. You just want to kind of like shake something. You're just trying to figure it out, and you can't. I think it's just it's a combination of a lot of things. Yeah, no one respects our run game. And when we do make a big play in the run game, we just seem to, for whatever reason, we just abandon whatever we were doing. So whether it's a big pass play, whether it's a big run game, we just totally abandon it. We never go back to it. I don't get it. I don't know. And then we don't make adjustments. We never make adjustments, and it's been a killer.
Yeah, I like the under center, going back to under center a couple of weeks ago with the Jets, after the Jaguars was working, and I felt it was doing okay last week as well, but they were not handing it off. I'm like, hand that ball off. And you kind of see that there's a hole there. It's like, just hand it to him, let him go. But I don't know. We're flip-flopping because at 1 week we say we don't want the run, but I'm come to the conclusion that we're going to need some type of run. We need some type of run, else we're not going to go far in the playoffs. And I still think we're a playoff team. And but don't talk to me about Super Bowl. Talk to me only about New Orleans this week. And don't talk to me
one game at a time.
Don't talk. I mean, I have a guy at work, and oh my God, was he giving me a bunch of crap today? He's a Patriot. He's a Patriot fan.
Oh, and, of course.
Man, oh man. I mean, it's a friendly thing between the two of us, but again, I never thought in a million years that we'd be looking over our shoulder and the Pats would be there. I knew they'd get back to a good team. I just didn't think it was this year with the rookie Mac Jones, and they brought in a lot of folks in the offseason. Belichick's, I don't know, maybe he's out there saying, look, yeah, Brady made me look bad last year, but it's my system that has made us so consistent over the years. And he's showing that to be true again this year. He needed 1 year to, to charge back up.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty impressive. It really is. And they're getting hot right now. So, but at the same time, I do believe that we have a recipe to defeat New England. And as worried as I am about them, I think we're going to figure it out. We're going to get back on track this week, and then we get a nice little mini bye week so we can, get healthy, hopefully get some guys back, and we'll be a full squad when we play them.
Yeah, so everyone put out your score prediction. I see some of them that made it out there. And again, every week we run a $50 gift card. Sometimes we give it away if someone's close. Last week nobody was close whatsoever. It's hard. It's hard to hit it spot on. So I recognize that, and it's the holiday season. So if we get someone who can be a little closer with the score prediction, then they could easily win a $50 gift card. And don't forget our great giveaway that's going on. And all you got to do is look in the description, the link's there. And again, I didn't ask anyone, but please drop a nickel on that subscribe button. Give us a like, give us a share. There is no fantasy football show with the holiday. We have golf. Golf's on vacation for a month at least, and the fantasy football show is not.
How about the match? You gonna watch any of that, Mike?
Which one?
Between Bryson and Brooks Koepka? They're playing each other.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, that'll be fun. Little Friendsgiving golf match.
That would be fun. I would watch that because they're those two, man. I don't know if they're just kind of doing it to generate some publicity, or if they
Yeah.
really, really, truly don't like one another. But if they're playing against each other, then I think it's more for publicity, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Jake and I, we have a little bit of a break as well, right? We don't have another game till Monday night. What is that?
I know it.
Might
Yeah.
have to. We might have to. There's an opportunity maybe that we can get out here with a Saber show. Get my
That would be
dad on here
interesting.
with the three of us. See
Yeah,
if we can
that'd be
fit
fun.
something in and get something out there. I hate to go 10 days without. Actually, it'd be more than 10 days
Need some type of
without
content,
a content from us. So we'll see what we can bring out there for you guys. And yeah, closing thoughts for you, Jake.
Welp, can I give my prediction?
Oh, absolutely. Give us the rundown.
I'm going to tell you this. I think it's going to be a bounce back week. I like Antonio's prediction of 28-7, but predicting a blowout like that makes me awfully nervous. So I'd rather be cautiously optimistic with this one. And I think the Saints are going to play us tough. They have a very good defense, regardless of what they showed last week against the Eagles. They showed some holes in their run defense. But with that being said, I do believe that we're going to rebound. We're going to come back and we're going to show that we are a good offense, first off, and second off, that we can play defense and we can create a lot of turnovers. So maybe we reclaim that first spot. I think we're going to get after Trevor Siemian a little bit. And I think Eddie Oliver's going to have a nice day. And I think Stephon Diggs is going to have a really nice day. Josh Allen seems to be pretty well on NBC whenever it's televised. And also, I don't think we're going to have to hear Chris Collinsworth's voice. I think it's Mike Tirico and Drew Brees. Drew Brees will be calling the game. So that's going to be fun.
You don't like
pretty
Collinsworth?
Excited for that. You know what? After that Chiefs game, Mike, I'm a little salty towards him. It was just overkill. It was a little too much bias on that end. I didn't really mind him coming into that game, but ever since, I've just been kind of, I don't know, staying away from it. Not a huge fan per se. Love Al Michaels. I think he's fantastic. But Chris Collinsworth, you know what's crazy? Chris Collinsworth, he was a 1,000-yard receiver with the Bengals, which is insane to think about.
Great receiver. I mean, I was
he was
around. I was watching those games. I saw him play. He was very good.
He was really good. Really good. People don't know that. I mean, he's just a tall, skinny guy, went to Florida. He's a really good athlete. Crazy to think. I want to confirm. I think it is Mike Tirico and Drew Brees that'll be calling the game. So little added firepower. You got your former quarterback calling your game. I'm not sure what the ethics are behind that, to be honest. I guess Romo does a Cowboys game every here and there. So they're retired now. So there's a reason for that. But I think it's going to come down to a big play in the fourth quarter, and it's going to be from the Bills. And I think we get a deep shot touchdown. I think maybe a corner falls down or there's a miscommunication in the defense. And our guy, Emmanuel Sanders, the former Saint, scores the game dagger, pretty much the dagger in the Saints. He's going to score that game-winning touchdown, essentially. But I think the final score ends up being Bills 27, Saints 17.
Okay. And I'm glad you reminded me of that. There was another reason I put Sanders on my list. It was because for that exact reason. He played with the Saints last year. So not really a revenge game, but always going back to a place you played the previous year
always fun.
And they didn't sign you again. I mean, it's got to light a little fire under you.
Absolutely.
I predicted that we're indoors. We're going to, again, greatest show on turf. We're indoors. I think this is going to help our team get back on track. Obviously, we've been playing too many rain games, and that's never a good recipe for those numbers that we're used to seeing. So I think we get back on track a little bit. 31-21. That's a little bit. There's a little bit bigger of a spread than I'd like, especially what's been happening. But I
get so nervous predicting these big scores.
I've been so wrong this year. But I truly believe that. And now the Bucks game next week, it's gonna be a little different. We're gonna have to have a real hard talk about that one. It really depends on how we show up this week, for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. So, all right, Jake with the 2017. Well, both of us have it as a 10 point
10-point game. Yeah.
10-point difference.
10-point
So
game.
we'll see.
I like it.
Well, listen, everyone, I think that just about does it for us. Antonio, definitely reach out. Jake and I would love to have you on. We'll
That'd be fun,
make
man.
a spot for you.
Love to have it.
And maybe even paint the face for that episode. No, I'm just kidding. I want to see.
That would be
I want to see him
electric.
without paint. I want to see him without paint. Come on now.
I do too.
I want to see the real. Will the real Antonio please stand up? Please
Yes.
stand up. Anyhow, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And a safe Thanksgiving. Enjoy this time. It's so special to all of us. And this is your daughter's first Thanksgiving, right?
First Thanksgiving, Mike. It's going to be fun.
How cool is that?
I'll show you wobble.
We're actually hosting a big crew this Thursday. So what about you guys? I think I had asked you, but you're not hosting, or you're going somewhere?
We're not. Yes, we're not hosting. We're going to my wife's grandparents. We always go there, and it's great. So I do a pretty good job of disguising this, but I always have my phone with me, and I have the Lions game on because we usually eat lunch there. It's right at that 12:30 time frame, so I put it up like behind a cup or something, or behind a candle. So I have my phone in perfect view, and I'll be eating while I'm watching the game. It's perfect. I absolutely love it. They're not as into sports as I am. I think I'm starting to brainwash some of them. Her Uncle Jay, he's always into it, but he's not going to be there. He's actually on a hunting trip right now, so I don't think I'll see him there, unfortunately. We usually like talking a lot of football. They usually have it on the TV, but we're in a different space where there aren't any TVs. So you got to play it, got to play it right. I just told everyone my secret, They always see it, though. They walk behind me. They see I'm watching football. They're like, oh, okay, typical, So, no, it's going to be fun. And then we're going to my parents after that and catch the Cowboys game there, eat a ton more food, and it's going to be awesome. I am pumped. I can't wait for mashed potatoes. That's my favorite. Freaking love mashed potatoes, homemade mashed potatoes that my mom
mashed
does.
Potatoes. I love some great stuffing, man.
Yes.
And I'm a yam guy. I don't know about you. I am what I am. I love yams.
I am not a yam guy. I think my wife likes yams, but I'm not a big yam guy.
So, Jake, I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot here. And, the whole theme about our giveaway is your favorite holiday memory. Yeah. So I shared mine in the recording, in the video that dropped on Sunday. So if I was to throw that question over to you, what's your answer to that?
I would say favorite holiday memory. It might have to be.
Dad's watching.
Yeah, I know. He's watching. He'll actually like this one. So we talk about this a lot. When we were younger, my brother and I, we got walkie-talkies for Christmas. And awesome. I guess if it's a present memory, this is a really good one. I got a lot more other great memories, but this one comes to mind because it was really funny. So he got us walkie-talkies, which we use walkie-talkies whenever we go out hunting, which is hilarious because we're given like a play-by-play when we see a deer. But anyways, we get these walkie-talkies, and on the other end we hear Santa Claus. So
cool.
I think it is the real Santa too. So you're hearing this guy talking, and turns out he's in the other room talking to both me and my brother, but we're talking back and forth with him and stuff. He always brings that up, and I think it's an awesome memory. It's a great time, and we always relive that one. It's pretty cool.
That is very cool. I mean, lots of folks have traditions. Like my dad watches a show every year. I think it's not a Christmas Carol. It's not a Wonderful Life. It's the one with the BB
Christmas
gun.
Story.
It's the one with the BB
Christmas
gun.
Story. Yeah, Christmas Story.
Every year he's got to watch that.
Just shoot your eye out.
So we love hearing these stories. I'm going to share some from the giveaway. I wanted to give it a little more time. We have over 150 folks that have entered that giveaway already, Jake. I mean, last giveaway for a Josh Allen helmet, for 4 weeks, we had 600, slightly under 600. Now we're at 150 and within just 2 days. So
That's amazing.
I hope to keep that going. And again, that's a great gift. The Fanatics $500 gift card. I mean,
that's amazing. Goodness. I mean, that is a dream. That is like a dream gift for me, especially. A lot of the stuff in this man cave, Mike, came from Fanatics. So pennants, jerseys, you name it, shirts, all of it. It's great. You can get it all there. So
Jake. So I know I ordered the signs from you, and you give me an update in a little bit. But so I went online and I scoured the internet, and I find this really cool, what I thought was a neon sign. Well, it turns out to be a neon-like, but it's LED, but it still looks very cool. I'm like, all right, I can't wait to get this. Yeah. So I ordered it. This was like 2 weeks ago. Well, I don't know what I was thinking, but I didn't realize this was a company in China.
Oh,
So this
no.
thing's being shipped from China. It's actually made its way to the LA. What do you want to call it? It's at the LA port,
Like warehouse or something.
something like that.
Or customs
It's
or
going
whatever.
through,
you
yeah,
call
it's
it,
going through customs, exactly.
Yeah.
This is going through customs. If that thing makes it here in one piece, first of all, I'll be super
It's
excited.
incredible.
But it's a 16 by 24, and it's a very, very cool Bills LED sign. We'll see. I'm hoping that
Nice.
it is what they said I purchased. You never know. And last time I ordered something that came from China, it was all shattered and broken.
Oh man,
I
well
was
I
on my
hope for
money.
your sake, Mike, you need something. I mean,
I do.
just to hold you over till you get those other signs, you know.
Yeah. Any updates on the signs? Did he say
Yeah.
what he's
So
gonna have?
that Ray was saying, shout out to Ray, great guy. He makes amazing signs, does Bills signs, Saber signs, you name it. He was talking to me actually on Sunday a little bit, and he said he's still about like a week and a half out, but he's making some pretty good progress. He said he was working on the Ravens one actually. So
Oh, cool.
he said that one is tricky because there's like 4 different colors involved with that. You have the purple, the black, there's a little bit of gold in there, and then there's like yellow too. So it's like different shades of it. But yeah, he said he's having a lot of fun doing it, and it's the first Ravens one he's done. So that's for your
Nice.
son, of course. you know?
Yes, absolutely. That's for my son. So I'm looking forward to it. So we can have something on these walls in the back of me. And all right, well, Jake, you have a fantastic Thanksgiving. I'm sure we'll text during the game at some point for sure.
Absolutely.
Let's go Buffalo, and we'll talk, Jake. We'll talk and see if we can come up with something for the folks during this 10-day off time for us. We'll see. But if we
Heck
don't
yeah.
see you until the next game, everyone stay safe and have a happy Thanksgiving. Take care, Jake.
You too. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Go Bills.
All right, let's go.